Today, we are diving into one of history's absolute giants, Napoleon Bonaparte. I mean, this is a figure so huge, so controversial, that more than 200 years later, we're still arguing about him.
And that's really the big question, isn't it? Was this guy an enlightened genius who literally dragged Europe into the modern age? Or was he a power-hungry dictator whose ambition cost millions of lives? Well, as you're about to see, the answer is not simple.
I mean, think about it. This isn't just some dusty history lesson. This is the almost unbelievable story of a guy from a pretty unimportant family on the small island of Corsica who, through pure grit and genius, climbs all the way to the top and crowns himself Emperor of France. It's just incredible.
So, how on earth did he pull it off? Well, it all kicks off during the absolute chaos of the French Revolution. It was the perfect storm, really, and it created a perfect opportunity for a man with his unique set of skills to just soar.
Okay, check out the speed of this. It is just breathtaking. In 1793, he's basically a young, promising artillery officer. But by 1796, his absolutely brilliant Italian campaign turns him into a rock star back in France. Just 3 years after that, he grabs political power in a coup. And then, the final audacious step, in 1804, he puts the crown on his own head. From a nobody to the absolute ruler of France in a little over 10 years. Wow.
So once he's in power, you start to see these two very different sides of Napoleon. On one hand, you've got the relentless military conqueror, and on the other, you have this visionary civic reformer.
And this slide just captures that contradiction perfectly. You have the general, the guy who's just shattering ancient empires at legendary battles like Austerlitz. But at the same time, you have the statesman who's building the foundations of a modern country, pushing ideas like meritocracy, getting ahead based on talent, not birth. He was literally creating and destroying at the exact same time. And his most lasting creation might just be this, the Napoleonic Code. Before him, French law was just a total mess of old, confusing feudal rules. Napoleon's code created one single, logical system for everyone, based on principles like equality and property rights. It was so revolutionary that you can still see its fingerprints on legal systems all over the globe today, a real game changer. But he didn't stop with the law, not at all. He created a central bank, a modern high school system, a way more efficient government, and in the places he conquered, he got rid of feudalism and gave rights to religious minorities. You see, he was building a powerful, modern machine of a state, one that was perfectly designed to support his massive military ambitions.
So all of this, the military genius, the modern reforms, it all leads to this moment, the absolute peak of his power. He was, without a doubt, the master of Europe. But as it often goes, that kind of dominance, it had its own hidden dangers. I mean, just take a look at the sheer scale of his empire. Whether he ruled it directly or put his family members on various thrones, his influence was just immense. At its height, his empire held sway over more than 40% of Europe's entire population. He didn't just win battles, he literally redrew the map.
But two huge mistakes started to make that empire crumble. First, he tried to cripple Great Britain with a massive economic blockade, the Continental System. But it totally backfired and ended up hurting his own allies. Second, he got stuck in this brutal, never-ending guerrilla war in Spain. It became a bleeding wound, sucking up hundreds of thousands of his best soldiers for years.
Now, those were serious problems, for sure. But the one decision that truly, absolutely sealed his fate was his biggest gamble ever, the invasion of Russia in 1812.
To do it, he put together the Grande Armée, one of the biggest European armies ever assembled. We're talking more than 600,000 men marching east. Napoleon was totally convinced this would be a quick, decisive victory. And this is what was left. Fewer than 40,000 men managed to stumble back. What happened? Well, the Russians were smart. They refused to give him that one big battle he wanted. Instead, they just retreated, burned everything in their path, and let General Winter, the brutal Russian winter, do the rest. It was an unimaginable disaster. His army never truly recovered.
After Russia, everything just falls apart, and it falls apart fast. His enemies smell blood in the water. They form this huge coalition and crush him at the Battle of Nations. He's forced to give up his throne and gets exiled to the tiny island of Elba. But then, and you can't make this stuff up, he escapes. He returns to France for what we call the 100 Days,
only to be defeated one last time at Waterloo. And this time, there was no coming back, just a one-way ticket to the remote island of St. Helena.
And that brings us right back to where we started. After all of it, the battles, the reforms, the glory, the bloodshed, how are we supposed to remember this guy?
This table really lays out the whole debate. Was he the visionary reformer who spread modern laws across Europe, or was he the tyrant whose constant wars had a staggering human cost, a guy who even brought back slavery in the French colonies? The honest answer is, he was all of it. He was a man of profound and, frankly, disturbing contradictions.
And his impact, whether he meant it or not, went global. His invasions actually sparked the fire of nationalism in places like Germany and Italy, and by wrecking the Spanish monarchy, he accidentally set off the independence movements all across Latin America.
So, hero or tyrant? Maybe he was neither, or maybe he was both at the same time. What seems pretty clear is that Napoleon Bonaparte, through his incredible ambition and undeniable genius, basically slammed the door shut on the old world and violently forced a new one to be born.